What the Hello YouTube has finally arrived. After about 10 days of waiting and watching around 500 hours worth of YouTube review videos, finally I'm holding it in my hand. It is of course the Nikon ZR. I'm not sure why the seal was missing. I'm hoping that's a normal thing, otherwise this camera was already opened, but I guess that's what happens if you try and save yourself around £500 by ordering it directly off China rather than a UK retailer. So in this video I'm just going to unpack it and then I'm going to rig it to the small rig cage, and I've got some handle options I'm going to try out because I didn't buy the small rig handle, but yeah, let's see how that goes. And actually, before this camera was announced, I was already in the market for a Komodo X Z-mount where I can attach my E-mount glass to. I was just figuring out my finances, and then suddenly I just heard that Nikon is coming out with this small camera, light, and even there as I'm unpacking it, I couldn't believe how small this thing is. It feels like a toy camera. It feels like a photography camera. But yeah, even here, I'm holding it and it's actually rattling. Don't know if you can hear. And the rattling is actually normal. I was worried at first, but according to the interwebs, that is because of the free floating sensor. When you turn it on, there's no rattling, everything's solid. I feel like a lot of effort went into making this camera very minimalistic. As you're holding it in your hand and unpacking it, it just feels so small. Like the battery and the buttons, there's not that many buttons. It looks very simple to use. It has a great big screen. As you open it, it just looks like it's all screen, the camera, and yeah, just a switch on and off button. That's simple. Like it's very well designed in terms of simplicity. If that's what you like, this is you. Like, you don't need to learn lots of buttons. It's light in your hand. It doesn't feel like you're holding something that has the power that this camera supposedly has. And of course, the first thing I did, as soon as the camera switched on, I went into file format, and there it is, red raw 12-bit red NE. I mean, for someone that was about to spend around, I don't know, £13,000 on the whole kit to get a Komodo X, and here I've got the red raw, the only thing I was really after, and on the autofocus camera for around £1,500. It's just unbelievable, and this will never stop being satisfying. That felt good. And yeah, coming from a Sony system, of course I've got lots of E-mount glass, and I opted for the cheaper Z-mount converter from E-mount to Z. This is the Viltrox one for around £70 on Amazon. There is also a more expensive one, but I'm going to try the cheaper one first, and if it works, I don't see the reason why I should spend 3 times more. And the first lens I'm going to try on is my 16-35 G Master. I saw another YouTuber use this lens, and there was vignetting in his video, which he didn't address, so I'm happy to say there is no vignetting. It works absolutely fine. And yeah, there it is. Just how compact is this? The lens looks massive. This camera is so small, it's so thin, it's so simple to use. Switch on, switch off. It's almost too simple. It almost feels like you're insulting my intelligence. This camera should have more complicated buttons. But anyway, I am actually really not complaining. I'm so happy about the simplicity of this camera, and it's so light, especially compared to like the Sony A7S bodies. I've got the Sony A7S III also. It's like half the size of that. It's more like a Sony A6000, but it shoots 6K raw 12-bit internal. My mind is blown. Yeah, the grip's not the best. It's a very thin grip, and I'm sure the cage will solve that problem. But just as the bear itself, the naked body, man, I'm actually really enjoying the small size of it here. This will fit in my pocket. This will fit in my small gym bag or my little laptop bag that I take on public transport sometimes. like, it's not a camera that I only look at when I'm going to a big shoot, when I have lighting and crew and traveling in a van or so. Like, this will literally fit in a small pouch with a smaller lens, no problem. Like, this camera has no business to compete with the Sony FX6 in terms of image and color reproduction. The fact that this has 6K and the Sony is still actually just 4K, I just find it crazy how far technology has come. Anyways, moving on to the small rig cage. I know a lot of people don't like the idea of adding a cage to this camera, but if you need to add a monitor or a microphone or a wireless transmitter or what else, you know, you need this cage. Also, I prefer to keep my cameras in a cage because, let's just say it drops, it just adds a layer of protection. Plus, with this camera, I feel like you need the grip. Like, I can't hold that small grip safely. I'm not confident. And also, there's no NATO rail on this cage, so I've had to find a NATO rail that I've had laying around. It doesn't exactly fit. Ideally, I want 2 screws going into that NATO rail, but I'm just going to test it with this 1 screw, and I'm going to purchase a wider NATO rail that will fit at the top. But ideally, the NATO rail would have been already implemented into the cage so that we don't have to go and buy another piece of gear that also needs mounting, dismounting every time. When you're on a shoot and you're putting these things together, literally any little bit of kit that needs to be attached or detached, it's just time consuming. But let me not complain too much about the cage because it's actually fine. I saw that the top handle that it came with online is metal, and I prefer wooden finish handles because I get sweaty hands, and holding metal grips whilst your hands are sweaty, it's not a good combination. Also, the camera only comes with 1 mounting hole at the bottom, so if you're mounting this camera to a plate, you're best off having the cage because it gives you 2 screw holes and your camera's just safer on the plate. It won't twist and rotate or come loose. So just having a top handle feels fine, but having such a big monitor, I feel like I don't know if I really need a top handle. I actually really need a side handle, and a side handle I had lying around was actually this Sony FX6 top handle from Tilter. It's actually for when you're side mounting the FX6, but it just so happens to work perfectly fine with this cage. And you screw it in and you spin it around and you have a side handle. I genuinely like using top handles because it helps me balance in the camera, but with such a small camera, this top handle just felt too big. It feels massive. So after filming this, I actually took it off and I ended up using the cage without any handles on my test shoots after this. Because this camera is so small, you don't really feel the need of having extra handles, and because the screen's so big, it doesn't feel like I even need to attach a monitor. The limitations you'll find with the screen is that once you're trying to connect a HDMI cable or a USB-C cable, you can't twist that monitor, that screen. And if you're trying to shoot low angles and you're trying to see what you're doing, you're going to have a hard time, because to twist that screen upwards so you can see it from above, you really can't have any cables running into the side where the HDMI and the USB-C cable run into. So that's the limitation I feel like with this screen, but otherwise, yeah, that's it. So now I'm just going to take this out and do some tests, and make sure you come and check my channel for my results.